Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I'm going to be seeing Dance Gavin Dance and Chon next week, so I'm going to be trying to get everyone set so you guys can check those out. Also, I'll be interviewing Var, which is amazing. I'm so stoked. I'll be making a post about it on our Facebook page, Instagram page, so if you have any questions for them, I know this is kind of like the complete, I wouldn't say opposite, but just a different genre from what, but who knows? People can like different things, so I figure I'd post a question here. Also doing a ton of interview postings, so definitely check out all the bands I do interviews with. They are amazing and completely underrated. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Conviction's new record, Hope for the Broken. So I had heard about this band for a pretty long time. I just never gave them a listen, and it's not because I didn't like them or not because they're Christian. I just felt like they were just one of those run-of-the-mill bands that I just didn't really just give a lot of attention to, and just kind of like swept under the rug, not to offend them at any way, shape, or form. But I wanted to give this album a listen because I did love Deceptive Heart. I thought it was heavy, it was in your face, and it was just something about this band that really kind of encapsulated just that like old school era of like metalcore and like post-hardcore, like probably like early 2000s sort of stuff, and I was just really kind of intrigued to see how the rest of the album kind of panned out. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on the entire thing, some pros and cons in the record, and then finish out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Exodus, The End of Us. This is an intro track. There isn't really too much to be speaking about in terms of just what's going on. It's a cool ambient, almost eerie sort of intro to the song, as well as it just breaks into just a heavy part, which was totally unexpected. Again, I was something that I had no idea what was going on, but it just definitely worked with this sort of intro. It gives you an idea of what their sound will be like, and I definitely say that to the T. It definitely has that sort of vibes, and I think that kind of this song kind of transcends this record as a whole. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is Deceptive Heart, the one that I mentioned previously, and that is the second single. If you haven't seen the music video for that, I don't know who did the editing for that, but that was phenomenal. I don't know, I'm just really a sucker for some good edits, so shout outs to whoever that guy is. He did a phenomenal job. It looks incredible. But anyway, getting back to the song, it just throws you right in. It's like if you were in the middle of like a lion's den, it just kind of threw you right in, and I just love that it hits you like just like a truck. It's really kind of sick, and it just has that real metalcore just throwback sound to it, which I really can't elaborate too much on, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I think it really has that quintessential metalcore feel to it. The screaming is really great. The range alone is just ridiculous to me. It kind of combines the highs of old school Mike Haranica. I don't know how to pronunciate his last name, but Mike from Devil Wears Prada. It has that sort of high range that's like, he's got that like canter about his voice that kind of mimics what Mike does, almost to a T, really. If I really close my eyes and I listen to Mike's screaming and I listen to Conviction's screamer, I probably wouldn't know the difference, which is really great. The lows are phenomenal too, so I love the diversity in that. I think it really works, and I also love how they kind of blend both of those sounds into kind of one. They really kind of counterbalance each other in a nice way in a lot of these songs, which is brilliant, and I think that they did a phenomenal job with that. The highlight of the track is definitely, again, the chorus. I think it is really, really solid. It is just... I think it's super catchy. It's one of my favorite choruses off the entire record, and I love the sort of counterbalance of the just really melodic, really like soulful-ish kind of choruses against the more the just real in-your-face aggressive verses. I think it plays a nice role in this song, and it's just awesome. The breakdown at 3:36 to the end of the track is like just if you just got hit by a truck, man. I know that said that earlier, but it's so hard to elaborate. It just really got this beefiness to it that I love, and this one is definitely a favorite of mine off the record. It just really struck me hard, and it was one of my favorite tracks, as I mentioned previously. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Voices. They Want Me Dead. This was the first single, I believe, that they released, and it has this really strong Underoath vibe to it, especially just in the instrumentals. It just feels very Underoath influenced, and you could hear it in the guitar riffs and just the styling of like the vocals and things of that nature. There's just maybe not so much the vocals, but definitely the instrumentals. You can feel that just Underoath just vibe from them, and it just screams early post-hardcore, early metalcore, in the 2000s. I think it definitely feels like that. The chorus is really solid, a high energy track that I think carries itself very well. I think out of the two singles, I love Deceptive Heart way more, but I think that this one is a great single. It definitely kind of a little bit wanes from what the rest of the record sounds like, but in general, I think it kind of keeps to the same sort of stuff. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Divided. Much like the title suggests, this song's in its very nature feels very divided. The choruses have this very melodic, very complete like sound to it, but at the same time the verses do this kind of like 180 almost, and just have this interesting sort of sound, again, much like in, I would probably say, Voices. Each thing's kind of separated. The more melodic parts go to the choruses, and the heavier sort of aggressive parts go to the verses. So I'd like that they continued on with that. I think that it is a little bit of a trend throughout the rest of this record, especially in the next couple tracks. I feel like it really has that sort of melodic on, heavy on, melodic on, heavy on, and just kind of bounces back between the two, and really doesn't have a sort of like middle ground that I was really looking for. But otherwise, there is a really cool breakdown at the 2 minutes and 38-second mark to the around the 3-minute mark that really brings this song in particular together. And it's a sick track that has heavy moments, but also has sing-along moments, which, you know, I appreciate in songwriting. I think that it works very well, and I think it plays a really key role in a live setting where, you know, you can have those moments where you're singing along, but also those moments where you kind of want to just throw down. So I appreciate that. So we're gonna move into track number 5, which is We Are Violence. This song does a better job of, I feel like, combining these two worlds of just melodic and heavy into one track. It has some really cool singing parts over just the heavier arrangement going on in this track, and it doesn't feel very disconnected. Like, I felt like in Divided, they felt very much like in their corner, like as if you put like a wall between them. It felt very quote unquote divided. You can make a pun out of that if you want, but I feel like that is absolutely the case in that track. But this one definitely feels way more connected. The screaming is incredible in this track. It definitely feels like the focal point of this song as a whole. I think their screamer is one of the best in the scene so far, period. He's just got such a great range to what he does, and I'd love to see how he translates that live. I think that would be interesting to hear. There's this really awesome breakdown at the 2 minutes and 28-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 52-second mark that I think is really great as well. Definitely sick, groovy, has some great energies, and is definitely one of my favorite tracks off the record. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is Feel Alive. I appreciate the softer intro. I think that after just the songs where it just kind of cuts the chase, I love that this one feels a little bit more reserved and a little bit more thought out, and I think it shows off a lot of more of their diversity as songwriters. The screaming again is amazing on this track. You can hear the emotion. I think out of all of the performances, I feel like this feels the most emotive. It has that just grip to it that I felt like a lot of the other ones, maybe Deceptive Heart might be a very close second, or they're tied, I'd say, in terms of just emotiveness. It just, you can feel it when you're listening to it. And that's what I love about music, is that feeling that you get when you hear somebody in that situation, or that spot in life. And this one definitely has that feel and drive to it. It does a great job of blending elements of melodic and heavy parts into the song, much like in We Are Violence. I feel like these two tracks kind of do that justice of blending the two opposing sounds, which is really cool. The structure is great as well. I think it starts off soft and just kind of really builds off from that in a gradual way. It's not just like abrasive or anything. It just really works. Another one of my favorite tracks that I think works very well in the context of this record, and is one of my favorites off the record. So we're going to move into track number 7, which is False Witnesses. I could speak English, but this intro, woo, just woo, that's all I'm gonna tell you. Like, you just need to know that this one is one of the heaviest tracks off the record. It is wild. The chorus is catchy, but I also feel like it doesn't belong in this song. This one I feel like could have passed as that heavy track. And what I mean by that is, like, I'll reference another band that does it extremely well, Wage War. I think that the way that they are able to combine those songs that have those melodic just moments to them, like tracks like Gravity, I think that works. And then there's tracks like Stitch, where it's literally just screaming. I think in this case that this song could benefit from that aspect of thinking. The chorus could have been completely scrapped and thrown out, and then this track would have been an absolute banger. Not to say that the chorus is bad. I think it could have fit very well in other tracks, but it just lacks that just emphasis to it. And even at the end too, I feel like they could have just slowed it down and made it real nasty, like just heavy. And it just feels like a missed opportunity that they could have had. There was moments when I was listening through to this album that I was like, okay, there could be a part where it just slaps, and it just doesn't. So this one I feel like is a great track, but it rides that line of like great and it could be much better. So would love to hear their thoughts on that. If they have thoughts on it, I don't know, but we'll find out later on. So we're gonna move into track number 8, which is The Storm Will Pass. This features Chris Roeder of like Moss to Flames, which, first of all, great vocalist. But anyway, getting back to the track, digging the sort of just dirty bass intro. I think that was really sick. The verses have this awesome guitar riff that I love. It has this great groove and balance to it. The pre-chorus is a bit rough. I feel like it's out of place, much like in False Witnesses. This feels very much out of place. The chorus does a better job. I also feel like it has a tinge of out of placeness too, but those ambient passages throughout the track really make this song awesome, and I love that. Chris comes in at around the 3 minutes and 8 second mark to around the 3 minutes and 30-second mark, and he does both cleans and screams, which I like because I love his cleans and I love his screams, and I think they work very well. I would have loved the ending to just have them both screaming at the same time. I feel like that would have just been like, oof, just raise your hands up and just lay it down, because that would have been sick. I think that Chris was used very well, and despite him not being at the end, I think that, or not at the end, but closer to the end of the track, I think it's still a phenomenal track. I think that it's just a little bit of like structural issues on this track, and much like in False Witnesses, I feel like it kind of hits that precipice of like, could be an amazing track, but just isn't, just as of yet. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is Reckless. This one is a great track as well structured. Everything just works, and my gripes about the previous tracks that I've had about just structure were absolutely alleviated in this one, which is awesome. The chorus is a banger, and it just does not seem forced or out of place. It really works within the confines of this track. It's easily one of my favorites off the record, and they obviously can write well-written tracks. It just feels like some of them were just maybe a little bit less thought out than this one. This one just feels very thought out, methodical, and it works. So we're gonna move into track number 10, which is The Sleep Is to Feel. I think to sleep is to feel. Sorry, I wrote it wrong because I'm really dumb. And then this features GT Woodruff of Hawthorne Heights. I was gonna say another band, but I didn't, so I'm glad I didn't because that would have been terrible. But this track is really good, and I think much like Reckless, I think that it makes sense. And what I mean by that, structurally, everything works very well. And then again, the previous gripes that I had just kind of fizzle out in this one. The chorus is really great, full of energy, and catchy as hell. JT's spot was really good too. I felt like his spot starts at 2:06 to around 2 minutes and 16 seconds, and then he does some echoing parts between 2 minutes and 26 seconds to around 2 minutes and 43 seconds. I think that he works very well in the confines of this track. Saying that, I think that his band is a little bit less aggressive, so I feel like he works very well in the confines of this track. And I would have loved to hear him kind of finish out in that last chorus. That would have been really cool. But otherwise, instrumentations to vocals, really killer track. And it's definitely one of my favorites. I think they took a lot of future notes into what I had gripes about and really worked it into this track. So we're gonna move into track number 11, which is Revere. This one is an interlude track, really doesn't need much to be said, much like Exodus, but I love the spacious vibes of this track. It definitely reminds me of another interlude track from The Hollow, Memphis Mayfire's The Hollow, but the track more specifically it reminds me of is The Burden. It has that sort of vibe to it, which I really dig. So we're gonna move into track number 12. I can speak again. It's kind of late, but I can do it. But anyway, back to track number 12. This one is called Never Wanted It This Way. And they must have heard me from earlier. Just future pretense. They must have knew that I was going to have some problems with it. And that they've come to swoop in and save the day. But this track is really great. I think everything that I had previously said about structure, I think they fixed in these past couple tracks, which is really great. And this one is absolutely the piece of resistance. Sorry for my horrible French accent, but I really love this one. I think it has all the best elements of Conviction and all the best elements of this record so far. And it blends it into a really melodic but also really heavy track, and just beautifully arranged. The vocals are probably my favorite off the entire record, both screaming and cleans. I think that this track is an absolute masterpiece, and is my favorite performance from them thus far. It has so much heart, it has so much emotion to it, and that breakdown with that two-step, whew, Lord Jesus help me. Easily one of my favorites. I think that I've spoken enough about the gripes on this record, but this one absolutely just body bagged me right now. So we're gonna move into the last track number 13, which is Hope for the Broken. This one definitely highlights more of the cleans, which I'm digging. They have this awesome subtleness to it, especially in intro and the verses, and I like how they kind of subtly weave in the heaviness that really kind of ends off the track in that no, it just kind of sets that boat free out into the ocean. But really great track. I love just the warmth of the cleans. I think it really kind of draws you in as a listener. And the heavy aspects don't feel forced in this track. They feel very natural. They fit very well into this song. And I love the little bit of piano accents. It really adds this nice layer to the overall song. And just a big melodic and heavy exit to the record. I think that the latter half of this record really kind of blew me away. And, I really enjoyed the second half of this record. So some pros and cons that I have. Cleans and screams are absolutely phenomenal. There's some performances that I digged more than others, but generally speaking, I think it was really good. The screaming is definitely on par with or not above other screamers in this genre. Really rides the line of some real great lows, but also some great highs that feel unique and have this uniqueness to them. Really well written metalcore, especially the second half of this record. I feel like maybe from track 5 on, or like something like that. I feel like those tracks were just way more thought out and way more heart was put into them. Not to say that the other songs that I had some gripes about didn't do well. I just feel like overall the generality of it, I think that the latter half of the record is definitely better. The guest features are really phenomenal too. I think they add a lot to the songs and they don't take away from just the overall band's performances. And there's just some great moments of brilliance throughout this record. I feel like the last 2 tracks more specifically really kind of, you know, take this band to the next level, and I'd love to see them kind of take that sound, that core sound of those 2 tracks, and really kind of run with that sound, because I feel like they would be absolutely killer. But this album is not without cons, some big cons. I feel like structural issues and just kind of that more identity crisis feeling. I feel like in Divided it works, but in all other songs it just maybe feels a lot out of place, and there are certain parts where I feel like, you know, choruses should be just completely annexed out of songs, or something like that. It just really would have fit with the mojo of the song. But I get maybe where they're coming from, but overall I think as a listener it would just feel a little bit better if it was just a straight heavy track, or just a straight melodic track, not kind of ride the lines, unless it just works very well. And again, with the clean singing, I felt like some of the songs just didn't work. And that probably has a lot to do with the structural issues that I mentioned previously. But overall, I think it is a solid metalcore record. One of my favorites that I got the chance to listen to this year. So definitely go check it out if you get the chance to. I'll also be reviewing Gatherers, which I'm really excited about over this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But my overall rating for Convictions, Hope for the Broken, I'm going to be giving it a 9.3 out of 10. I think it's one you should go check out. They are currently on tour, so go check them out if you get the chance to, if they hit your city. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I'd love to have your thoughts in the comment section below. I love having conversation about the record, so definitely hit me up about that. Also, thanks to Austin over at Secret Service Publicity, something shit like that. I don't remember because it's late, but definitely go check his stuff out. He's a great guy. Go give him some love. And shout outs to Convictions. Thank you guys for letting me review your record. And I'm stoked to see what happens next with your band. So keep doing that thing. But anyway, thank you for watching this review. Tons of awesome stuff coming up in the future. Like I said, Gatherers I'm going to be doing a review of, and there's definitely another record that I'm going to be doing a review of that I can't remember, but probably more to come, and just future things. So definitely keep notified on this channel by clicking that bell so you know when things come out. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and share it around. It really goes a long way. Thank you guys for so much support. And as well as that, there's an update video where you can enter into our 1K giveaway. It's literally going to end I think this Tuesday coming up, so definitely don't miss out on that. And if you do, then it's cool too, but I will reinstate it at some point. And thank you guys for watching this review. It's a little bit of a long one, but thank you so much. My name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.